Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel. Once again, we are outside and we're here to talk a little bit about what happened last night on Friday Night SmackDown. I've made 2 wrestling videos now, and I don't know if wrestling fans watch them or not, but pro wrestling is like big in my life, so I want to have a voice in some of these things. I will not be discussing the Vince McMahon allegations. I'm just going to leave it there. Vince McMahon allegations, you can look them up. There are people in better positions to speak about it, and other pro wrestling news sites, sources, channels have all already talked about it. The Wall Street Journal has everything with that. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I am going to talk about what happened on SmackDown last night, something very specific. That's The Rock showing up to challenge Roman Reigns and how I feel about it. But before we get there, I want to touch briefly on what happened with Bayley and Damage Control and how much I loved that, because smart baby faces have never been a thing, or at least rarely, in WWE. And not only was Bayley listening to Damage Control speaking Japanese behind her back this whole time, well, at least Asuka, Io, and Kairi, but she also had that pipe. To kind of run you through what happened if you don't know, after Bayley won the Royal Rumble, she came out with Damage Control, Asuka, Io, and Kairi, and they started talking about people who don't believe in her and doubt her, and she asked if they were done laughing, and then she said, "I understand Io" in Japanese, which I'm not going to try to say, and said she understood what they've been saying this whole time. And then the Kabuki Warriors walked behind her while she was talking to Io and being like, "You don't believe in me. I wanted this to be Damage Control. I wanted us to go to WrestleMania together." She was almost crying. Kabuki Warriors jumped her, beat her up in the corner, and then she reached behind the steel steps, pulled out a pipe, whacked the Kabuki Warriors, and then she challenged Io for the match at Mania. So it was huge. It was awesome. It shows that Bayley not only has been listening this whole time, but also she knew they were going to jump her. And good guys having brains has not always been a thing. And Bayley's turned face for a while now. People love Bayley, and I didn't pick her to win the Rumble. I picked her as my wild outside bet. So, I mean, good for her. Honestly, this is all awesome. I am crooked. This is all awesome, and it was an awesome angle and an awesome moment for her. And I can't wait for her to beat Io, hopefully, and have her WrestleMania moment with Io Sky. Io Sky, by the way, one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Not just men, not just women, men, anything like that. I love Io Sky ever since her time in NXT as Io Shirai. I didn't know her before that, I'll admit, but after I kind of fell in love with her style, I went back and watched all her stuff in Japan. I smacked the chain. So there's my stuff on the Bayley stuff. I'm very excited for it. But I'm here mostly because last night, before I went to bed, I don't have cable, so I wasn't watching SmackDown, but I went onto YouTube, and WWE on Fox's YouTube page had a 6-minute video. The Rock confronts Roman Reigns, and I was like, I have to watch this. And I watched the whole thing. Once again, walk you through it if you don't know, and I apologize. I talk really fast, and I do apologize for that. But Cody Rhodes won the Rumble. On Monday, he was confronted by Seth Rollins because it was clear at the Rumble that Cody was going to challenge Roman again to get the title and finish the story, which he didn't do at WrestleMania last year when he won the Rumble. And then last night, he confronted Roman, and he said, I still want that belt. That's the belt that was handed to my father and then immediately stripped away from him, that all these major legends have held. Seth's title is still a good title, but it's not the title I want. And that he's been talking to people. And he asked, is finishing the story taking the title from you, or is it taking everything from you, Roman, that is? And then he said he's been talking to people, and one of the people he's been talking to knows him very well. Out comes The Rock. And Cody also said he is going to take the title from Roman, but not at Mania. Out comes The Rock. They hug and shake hands, and then Rock and Roman spend the rest of SmackDown, the last 2 minutes, taking slow steps towards each other until they're face-to-face, and then SmackDown goes off the air. Apparently, after the show, they kept just face-to-face, and then Roman turned his back and walked off, and The Rock cut a "Hi, I'm The Rock" happy promo. But just for the record, I don't care. That's probably where the video is going to end for some people. I want to mostly address the fans that are on Twitter and Facebook and social media going, "Ah!" because I don't think that's necessary. Because that's really what y'all are doing. I don't disagree with the discourse to a certain extent. People are really, really mad. People are saying they're never going to watch WWE again People are saying that WrestleMania is going to be ruined, which is, again, title of the video here. People are saying that this is CM Punk, but worse. People are saying this is like Bryan Danielson / Daniel Bryan, and we need to start screaming till Cody gets the main event, which isn't going to happen, yada, yada, yada. Again, I don't really care because it's WrestleMania and it's The Rock. If you're running a business, you want the biggest star there. One of my favorite things I did see on the discourse is that, yes, it's a business, but it's also pro wrestling. You can treat it as a business or you can treat it as pro wrestling. If you treat it as pro wrestling, Cody Rhodes needs to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, finish the story, hold the title that his dad didn't really get to hold above his head while all the pyrotechnics that WWE has ever had go off. As a business perspective, yeah, you want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to be there, because I'll give you guys a really good example. I was talking to a guy at work today. He's new. I mean, he's not, but he's somebody that came back, and he was talking about the allegations, and we started talking about wrestling in general, and I happened to mention The Rock coming back, and he was like, "Wait, what? The Rock?" He pulled his phone out and watched the video, and now he's excited for WrestleMania. A lapsed fan. He hasn't watched since like the mid-2000s. So that's the thing. The lapsed fans are going to love this. It's The Rock. And we as fans have wanted The Rock versus Roman Reigns for about 10 years now. The last 3 or 4 years more so because of the whole Tribal Chief gimmick. But, I got excited hearing The Rock. Now, hearing The Rock's music and all that. Again, I get it. I don't disagree. Cody should finish the story at WrestleMania. But what is me screaming at the sun going to do about it? Or I guess last night on Friday Night SmackDown, screaming at the moon. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm always going to enjoy wrestling. I may not agree with stuff. I've got Facebook posts from years ago. I mean, if you wrestling fans really want some PTSD, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend in Hell in a Cell. You're welcome. So, I mean, it happens. WWE does this stuff, especially when a legend is available, especially The Rock. I'm not trying to defend their decision too much because, like I said multiple times now, I agree with you guys. I agree with the negative discourse for the most part. I'm not going to, the top of my lungs, I'm not going to scream again. But there's nothing that we as fans can do about it. I mean, yeah, we can go onto social media and we can go to shows and scream, "We want Cody" at The Rock until our faces turn blue. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just because it happened with Bryan Danielson when he was Daniel Bryan doesn't mean it's going to happen with Cody. And as of right now, the rumor mill that I read, like WrestleVotes, and I almost said No DQ. Don't ever listen to them. But WrestleVotes is a big one, I guess, is where my head is at. And Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, they're saying that the rumor going around right now is Cody's going to face Seth probably, which is going to be a banger, by the way. Hello. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, Rock and Roman. And then maybe Cody faces Roman somewhere down the line, like a SummerSlam, and they might reunify the titles. I don't like the idea of reunifying the titles because we just last year had a tournament for a new title. So what's the point of this new workhorse title that Seth called it if we're just going to merge them at SummerSlam? But that's just the rumor. Things could change tomorrow. If you're going to ask me what I would do if I was in this situation, if I had The Rock available and he wanted to work with Roman, I would most likely pitch the same thing I pitched last year. Last year, I pitched the idea of Roman versus The Rock on night 1, non-title Tribal Combat, and which Tribal Combat technically has no rules, but do with that what you will. But non-title, and then have The Rock lose. Obviously, Roman beats The Rock. And then on night 2, The Rock is forced to, and this could be a stipulation in the match, he's forced to go out with the bloodline, with Roman. But he doesn't have to help Roman win. He stands back and watches while Cody beats Roman Reigns. And then The Rock goes in there, raises Cody Rhodes' hand, while Roman sits there like, "Oh no, my empire has fallen." So I think that would be cool. And that way Roman works both nights and etc. He could use that in promos if he wanted to, but I wouldn't. That's not Roman's character. Roman beats The Rock and then works another match the next night, and he's just like, "Yeah, I worked 2 matches. What of it? I'm the Tribal Chief. We the ones." So there you have it, I guess. That's my 2 cents on all this. It's WrestleMania. To answer the question in the title of the video, no, WrestleMania is not ruined. Not only are we getting The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but we're also probably getting Cody versus Seth. And I see the discourse on that match, like, oh, he's beaten Seth 3 times. Okay, that's a story in and of itself. Every time Seth Rollins faces Cody Rhodes, he loses. Seth's like, this time I'm going to beat you. He doesn't. Then maybe in 6 to 10 months after Mania, they face off again. Seth loses again. Maybe we build to a WrestleMania 41 story where Seth can finally beat Cody. You know, you can use that stuff. They've done it before. So-and-so has never beaten X wrestler. Maybe that'll never happen. And then when they finally do, it's a big moment. You know, they can use that in the story as well and in future stories. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Bayley versus Io Sky is set. It is set. It is the first match with the WrestleMania logo on it. Bayley versus Io Sky. That's going to rule. End of conversation. We're probably getting Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, which is probably one of my biggest dream matches in a very, very long time. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be incredible. And then I'm hoping that we get the Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day for the tag titles. I know people are like, oh, I don't want that, but I do. It'd be a really good feel-good moment for R-Truth, especially. And Miz could use a big WrestleMania moment. He hasn't had one in a while. So I'm very excited for that storyline. And I just hope WWE is patient with it. Giving Miz and Truth the titles at WrestleMania would be perfect. And I don't know what Gunther or Logan Paul do. I want Logan Paul to face LA Knight. Like, it's only February. We still have at least 2 months till WrestleMania at this point. They have time to tell a bunch of stories. But no, WrestleMania is going to be fine. It's WrestleMania. And like I mentioned earlier, lapsed fans are going to be watching and probably going to the show just because The Rock's going to be there. And one of the people I love to watch, Adam Wilborn on What Culture, is like, yeah, Cody's not finishing his story, but I'm going to WrestleMania, and I get to see my childhood hero main event the show. So there's going to be people like that out there, people in my age, my generation, millennials, that are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to WrestleMania, and The Rock's going to main event it. Like, again, in our lifetimes when we're in our 30s and 40s and stuff. That's really cool for us. But, again, yes, Cody should have finished his story. But we're going to have to let it play out. We have to wait and see. Papa H has made very few mistakes. You know, we don't know what he has up his sleeve. But, excuse me. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about all this. I know a lot of people are unhappy about it, but me personally, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm going to enjoy wrestling no matter what. I don't care if the main event of WrestleMania is R-Truth versus Cody's dog Pharaoh for the 24/7 title and that big green Saudi Arabia belt. I think that came with the 50-man Rumble or something. It's WrestleMania. It's pro wrestling. I love it. So until next time, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And look forward to what happens next in pro wrestling. This is JT Channel. I am JT. See you next time.